Now let's begin the conversation. In the ongoing trial of the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, over alleged 8.7 billion naira money laundering is steadily progressing, and a bewildered nation watches with keen interest. The Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, has granted Malami bail. Now, looking at it, the Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, has granted Malami bail. Justice Emeka Nwite set the bail at 500 million naira for Malami and his wife, Asabi Bashir, and son, Abdulaziz Malami. Each defendant is required to provide 2 sureties who own landed property in Asokoro, Maitama, and Gwarimpa in Abuja. The court also ordered Malami to submit his travel documents and restricted him from leaving the country without prior approval. Pending the fulfillment of these bail conditions, Malami has been remanded at the Kuje Correctional Center. Justice Nwite also cautioned lawyers and all parties in the case against attempting to contact him privately during the trial, emphasizing that such approaches would not be tolerated. He adjourned proceedings until the 17th of February for commencement of trial. All right, gentlemen. Biko, let's start this way. I mean, what were the things, considered by the trial judge, before the former Attorney General and his family were granted bail, despite the gravity of the money laundering charges?
Yeah, of course, this is not a capital offense, and it is therefore bailable. Okay. The judge affirmed that the key consideration in granting bail is whether the accused persons will make themselves available anytime they are needed, and whether they will not refrain from interfering with witnesses, which could actually hamper the case. So once the judge was convinced that the accused persons will make themselves available, especially by not traveling without the authorization of the court, the judge decided that it will make sense to grant them bail. Don't forget, Malami and his family had been in detention for 31 days.
Okay.
So naturally, the judge would take their request for bail seriously, because they have stayed long enough in detention for a crime like this. But it is one thing to grant bail, it's another thing for the accused persons to perfect their bail through their lawyers, fulfill all the conditions. Once you have fulfilled all the conditions, you can walk into freedom. So the judge made it clear that he was convinced that EFCC's protestations were not cogent enough to deny them bail in the 8.7 billion money laundering case. Now the EFCC has every opportunity to work hard to ensure that justice is served in this matter and to prove their case against the former Attorney General of the country, one of the longest serving Attorney Generals in Nigerian history. So we wait to see what happens.
Okay. I mean, Shola,
yes.
Section 35 and Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution, Section 35 talks about personal liberty and 36 talks about right to fair hearing. What are your thoughts on the court granting bail to the former Attorney General?
Like BKO said, it's a bailable thing. It's not as if he committed murder.
Okay.
And also, I don't think, the judge might also have looking at him as somebody he didn't see as a flight risk.
Okay.
And when you have those behind your mind, it's not going to be difficult for you to be able to give. But we should also have it at the back of our mind that despite the bail, there are stringent conditions attached
to it
to ensure that even if there is any hanky-panky, somebody has to be called to question, something has to give. And that's why I feel normally it's okay. It's also something that we should look at the issue of judicial independence. You know, this is somebody who is seen as, in quotes, as an opposition figure in Nigeria and is on, not on trial, but at least when a judge decides to do things that show some level of independence, I think it lends credence to the fact that there is some form of judicial independence in Nigeria. And this is something we should look at with a more positive light. And it's not left for us to see how the trial will go. But one thing I know is, I mean, from what has been said, the man has drawn a line that is not going to take nonsense when this case starts. From the undertone of him warning people about not reaching out to him and all those things, people trying to bribe, the message is clear that this is a judge who's not going to handle this case with kid gloves. And then we should have hope. We should see justice being done. The fact that somebody is granted bail does not mean he's not going to face trial. We want to see that done because we have to understand the fact that this was the chief law officer of Nigeria. If you're going to do things, do it according to the law. If there are things you did wrongly, you should be called to question. So if he's guilty, then let it be seen. If he's not, it will be free. So it's a very clear case, and I don't think, so far so good as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I mean, Charlotte mentioned something, but Biko, how unusual is it, you know, for a sitting judge to publicly, you know, allege an attempt to bribe him? And what does this say about the pressure, you know, reveal about the pressures on the judiciary?
No, judges have different ways of responding to pressure. You know, some will simply take it on the chin and follow their conscience, do what is right. But the pressure must have been really intense for Justice Nwite to say, stay away from me, stay away from me, I'm warning you, stay away from me. And I think I prefer that style. I prefer his stance. Let people know that since this case began, some individuals have been trying to compromise me, have been trying to get close to me the best way that they can, and I'm not prepared to listen. I'm prepared to be faithful to my conscience, and I want them to stay away from me. So I like the fact that he has issued this warning. The next thing that the judge will probably do is to name names and shame those who are trying to compromise him, because judges are human beings and they face all kinds of pressures. That's why many of them don't even join associations or groups, because once you belong to a particular association, they expect that if a case involving one of your own is brought before you, they expect you to temper justice with mercy. But at all times, judges must follow the law, follow the Constitution, and remember that they are God's agents on earth. For example, if you are a judge sitting on a matter that relates to murder, you know that human life is in your hands. So you have to do justice to the case before you, because you know that it's a matter of life and death. You have to follow the law, do what is right. And judges must be above board.
Sure.
In our country, judges get a lot of stick. When it takes two to tango. When we say judges are greedy, judges are corrupt, sometimes we say that without evidence. But we don't talk about the people who do their utmost to corrupt these judges, especially judges handling election-related matters. A lot of money, you know, gets taken to them. it takes a God-fearing judge to resist the kind of temptation, the kind of money at the disposal of politicians. It takes somebody who is truly God-fearing as a judge to resist, and then sometimes pressure from the executive, you know. So these things are not easy. Anytime a case is brought before you, you find that there are so many interested parties who want you to serve their own version of justice. So I'm really impressed that Justice Emeka Nwite raised an alarm this early. So that way, they know that they have to keep their distance. So
Okay.
I'm happy with him.
All right, we have Ade calling in from London. Ade, let's talk.
Hello, Olusegun. I did Prince and I did my brother.
Yeah, good evening.
I can't remember his name. So, my comment about this issue is this. Let's be praying for the EFCC chairman. He's doing a great job. I've been calling for this for a long time on another channel, that they should invite Malami. And Malami take his wife by getting third-party immunity. Third-party immunity by marrying the late president's daughter. But that it didn't work now. So let him answer for it. When he obtained the money, how much is his salary for 8 years? And with all those humongous amounts and buildings everywhere, we just want to see the truth. And once the truth is decided, then if it's free, let me go home.
Okay.
If it's not free, then let's recover our property.
All right, thank you.
All those properties they are sitting in Nigeria, they should sell it to us in diaspora. We'll buy it. God bless Nigeria.
The case,
All right,
the court will determine
that.
whether it can forfeit those properties to the government. I'm sure the FCC will do something about that.
But
Malami has been trying to make this trial a social media affair. This is very shameful. It is not supposed to be a social media affair. If you have a case to answer, for God's sake,
Exactly.
answer the case.
Especially somebody who's a senior advocate of
Yes.
Nigeria, who knows the law.
And who had been chief law
I
officer
mean,
of our country.
What is
What is the point?
done.
When an invitation was extended to him by the EFCC, what he did was simply to announce that, oh, the EFCC, this and that, and then some politicians who are saying, no, they should not politicize the trial, this and that. No, anybody who has a case to answer should go and answer.
Yes.
So if the EFCC is saying that you are guilty of a 16-count charge of illegitimate acquisition of property, we have to get to that point in our country where people must defend their properties. People, how did you earn this money? To have this hotel here, to have that hotel here, to have that hotel here, that people know. You know, politicians, what politicians are doing to us, and some other people, even civil servants, what they are doing to us, in your face stealing. They don't care anymore. They want to have 10 cars. They want to have a harem of women. They want to acquire things that they need several lifetimes to be able to
Over
to
700
use them.
duplexes.
You know, I mean, one individual, just look at that. Look at that. And when they put them on trial, they will say, oh, EFCC is politicized, EFCC is this, EFCC is the current chairman of the EFCC is doing a fantastic job. No doubt about it. I'm not saying this because I'm patronizing. Why should I patronize him? It's glaring. And even in terms of funds recovery, he's done better than others before him. Funds recovery, stolen funds are being recovered here and there. That's why we can do consumer credit. That's why we can do Nel Fund. And we can only pray for him that he will be able to recover a lot more of this property that people have stolen. And let them continue to file forfeiture cases against these people so that they forfeit those things to the country. For example, those 700 houses, duplexes that the former CBN governor acquired, you can give them to soldiers.
True.
So that they won't be,
true.
they won't, soldiers won't be fighting civilians for houses, and a junior officer will be poking his nose at the minister. They can allocate them. They deserve it.
Yes, they do.
They can allocate them to soldiers and even policemen and other people.
All right, gentlemen. All right, gentlemen. The trial has been adjourned
Face
to
your
February
trial.
17. I believe
Leave
Nigerians
social
are
media alone.
excited.
Is somebody afraid?
But
Because
just in 30 seconds, what should Nigerians expect when the trial starts?
Nigeria
February 7th?
should see justice being done. I loved the way Justin Witte started. I am not for turning. I'm not for bribing. Some people are afraid. Why do you need to go and see the judge if you know you are within your rights? There is no need for you to go through
Because they think everybody has a price.
No, this should be, even we are also looking to what the judge will do. He has set the standard that this is the way I want this thing done. Then we should see justice, you know. There are
Not
so many
immediate
things.
trial.
No.
Justice.
Justice. That's what we're after.
All right, gentlemen.